there, I just want to talk to you about March wrap up here. I know it's a couple of months late. Sorry if it's late, but I want to talk to you about like the books that I read in March and then in April, so I'm combining two. So here we go. So I really liked Girls of Paper and Fire. I like the representation of the LGBT representation, and how this girl who has like gold eyes is like unique, and nobody has her eyes like at all, and that her people go through like being like kidnapped, killed, used as slaves, and she's a paper girl. She's being forced to be into a paper girl, and she doesn't want to do it. She's forced to do it because of her gold eyes. And basically the king likes these paper girls to be with him for a year, and I just like how this was well written. It was well written, 5 stars. Loved it. I definitely am going to continue with the series. The Everlasting Rose by For the Bells. I gave this a 4 stars. It wasn't bad or anything. I just felt underwhelmed with everything that happened. It just felt like it was kind of underdeveloped in a way. Like it was developed but underdeveloped. Like not enough action to take place with what happened. Loved the first book, just the way this went. Like, too many bells are killed. It's like, there's some adventure, but the way it concluded, I would reread it again. Like, it was a really interesting series. Gave it 4. It's not bad. I still would recommend people to read it with how it concluded. And then I have Evermore. I rated this a 5 star. The way this went and how this concluded, oh my god, I loved it. Like, at the duology, it's just like how the Empress and the Sorceress just try to combat each other and, like, make time worth more than actually what it was. And how this ended, I definitely enjoyed it. Like, they lose some of the magic for the time being because things are not tied to anything anymore. But how this concluded, I was very happy. And in the March, this is the final book I read in March, Lady Smoke. I definitely liked how everything was just jam-packed, and oh my god, I could gush over this to the Ash Princess. I know this is going to be another trilogy. It's going to be total a trilogy. And the way this ended was, like, good. I don't want to spoil too much, but I definitely love this book. And the cover is pretty. They're all pretty for the month of March, what I read. I love all the covers. And so in the month of April, I read 6 books, and March I read 4. So April was a good reading month. So Finding Yvonne, I read this in one day. Literally one day. It was powerful. It talked about, like, everyday topics. Especially, like, she didn't know, she liked doing violin, but she was kind of, like, falling out of love with just playing music in general, until she literally finds a guy who kind of spoke to her. But then after having fun one night, she's got to make a decision. And what comes of this decision? It's definitely 5 stars. I would recommend reading this. Loved it. Read Damsel. And it's like quite an interesting twist, like how she's literally a dragon, and she turns into a female. And this guy who becomes king after, like his father dies, and they always take a damsel. And this damsel just wanted to rebel. It was a good book, just not for me. I just didn't like how it was. I don't know. Interesting take, just not something I would reread again. But I would recommend other people read it. Okay, my favorite series. I loved how we see everything from Alex and Magnus. Love this book. I love the Red Scrolls. It's interesting how it goes back into the mortal instruments after everything. And I love Alex and Magnus representation for the LGBT. It's just, they're going on vacation. It takes place in between, like, first part of Heavenly Fire and what they go through. I loved it. 5 stars. 5 stars. I really do. I really loved it. I love Cassandra Clare. The Possible Knife of Memory. So, this is the author that did Speak, and wasn't a bad book. Definitely, it's interesting to see how people deal with PTSD, especially when Haley, who her father is dealing with that after being in the, serving in the military and that. And I give this some 4 stars. I definitely would reread this again. It's got a good insight. I definitely think she knows what she's dealing with because her father was the same way. So, we're recommending. It's a Trevor Noah, Born a Crime, of him being born in apartheid. So he literally grew up in Africa, and his mother wanted the best for him. He never really grew up being forced into one group. Even though he's half white and half black, and he was born a crime, and how he is dealing with his mother's abusive ex-husband, and what happens, and how his mother was never really tied to his father. But it's a good book. It's a 5 stars. Definitely would recommend people to read it. It's like a memoir of his life growing up in Africa, and how he could speak different languages. He went to the best schools, and how the apartheid was just slowly trying to break away. Who Can Keep a Secret. It was not a bad thriller or mystery, but I've read better. Rated at 4 stars. It's about how this family is back in town after her sister's aunt was killed 20 years before she comes back. And it wasn't good. It wasn't bad, it's just not, I just don't know how to say. It wasn't bad, it's just, for me, I probably won't read again. But if you want to get into, mystery, and a young adult, this is, a good beginner. But, we'll see. And those are the books I read for March and April. Tell me what you guys think, and comment down below. Or if you've read any of these books. And if you want to subscribe, hit the subscribe button. And if you like it, hit that like. I'll see you next time. Bye.